Yes, now family Ammo, welcome back to another video on Jazz TV. Today Jazz has got a list of things, and that's how you know this topic is very, very important. So today we're going to talk about professional fighters turning pro, young fighters, and if you're gonna get yourself a promoter, you're gonna turn professional. These are I would say everyone can benefit from this, but the top lads who are gonna get a top promoter, and things that you should ask for. If you haven't got no one around you, I advise that you do get someone. And if you're not going to, maybe be bold in what you're asking for, and what you think you are worth, double it, because that's what you are worth. And you're not always told that, well, you're not always shown that. From a lot of fighters come from tough backgrounds, don't they? And something drives them on to do something successful with their lives, and they get into a position where now they are successful, but they still don't know what they're worth. So yeah, that value is very important. You should find out by seeing what other people are worth the same as you. I undervalued myself massively when I was turning professional. Didn't know what I was worth. I had a product, but I didn't know what it was worth. I know I had a good product, and I was trying to prove myself all the time. When you turn professional, you are a ready cut diamond. You just need polishing. You're not a diamond in the rough that needs cutting up. You are ready made. You know what I mean? You just need some good guidance. You don't need opportunity. You just need guidance, and that's the difference between the top amateurs and the amateurs who never succeeded as an amateur. Although you can all take lessons from these. So the first one would be, when you are turning professional, you're gonna get a deal. Get yourself an accountant. Get a business account. Set up a limited company. Save on your tax. Pay the fucking tax man. Don't be paying your manager, your promoter, your coach, and then not paying the tax man. Madness. Yeah, make sure you pay that tax. Get yourself and pay yourself from a limited company, and that's an important one. You're gonna go meet a promoter. This will be number 2. Make sure that you get an advisor, someone who knows what they're asking for. So when I was 19, I turned professional. 18 or 19 I was, and I went to meet Frank Warren. I went to London, met Frank Warren, fancy hotel with me mate. Me and my mate went down the train. Me and my mate Carl. And Frank asked me, "Is this your father?" And he said, "No, I'm his advisor." But Frank couldn't see right through us. I was on my own basically, and Carl was with me, and I never had a clue. Carl never had a clue, and Frank could probably see right through that. And that is the issue, when you are finding a promoter, you're gonna have 2 problems. It's gonna be one or the other. Your promoter knows fuck all, and it's gonna be dangerous because he hasn't been there before, and he can't guide you there because he hasn't been there. He's winging it too. Or your promoter's been around the block, and he knows a lot more than you can ever know right now. So make sure you find someone in between the promoter and yourself, like an advisor, like a good manager who knows the ropes. What else could we say here? Signing just to be signed. I see that with a lot of kids nowadays. People who are getting signing contracts just to be signed. It doesn't make no sense, that. I think it's an ego thing sometimes, and it's a thing that a lot of fighters just want to be signed because it seems like to be the thing to do, but it's not. Don't be getting signed just for getting signed sake. It'll come back and bite you on the arse, because you won't get the best deal. I'm going for a cup of coffee, piss off. I'll be back in a minute. I'll be back to finish this in a minute. Get yourself an experienced coach, experienced manager. I turned professional with coaches who were turning professional. They never had no experience, and what did I expect? Where did I expect them to take me if they hadn't been there before? And that their experience will go a long way. I know that sometimes it might feel right and stuff like that, but you've got to ask yourself further. You got to look more further down the line, So yeah, get someone who's been there before. Social media. Now, a lot of fighters don't like. I know fighters who are really good fighters, but they say, fuck that bollocks, social media and all that. And just think about this: if you are a fighter you're an alternative universe in you, and next to you, one's got a massive following on social media, one that hasn't. You're still you. Who's gonna get the call to fight first and foremost? Who's just the promoter want to push more? And it's going to be on to social media. And not only that, it's a great opportunity to create revenue. It's a great revenue platform for you. My social media now will be on something like a third of a million views. I only have like 80,000 followers, something like that. And my social media now, because of the fight last month, it's on a third of a million views. When you have a big fight, it can go reach over 1 million. Now, anyone who's endorsing you will get returns on that, and anyone who's wants to endorse fighters and get into some sort of endorsements or advertisements, where they're gonna go? They're not gonna go to the fighter who's really good. They're gonna go to the fighter who can benefit their business the most, and then who they want to go to the most is the fighters who are really good. And I've got a lot of followers, so yeah, make sure social media, get on it. If you're not on it, just put it on in your spare time. You know, people say Joe Lewis never had social media, did he? But if Joe Lewis never had social media, I'll tell you why he never, because he never had fucking a phone with Instagram on. That's why. If Joe Lewis lived in this day and age, do you really think Joe Lewis wouldn't have social media? And now contractual circumstances can be tricky for fighters because they don't know what they're asking for, and you've never been through the pitfalls before. Maybe renegotiation periods. If you don't get the best deal that you want in the first year, and you know you've got a good product, take a risk on yourself. You know, take a risk on yourself. All right, then renegotiation period. If I do what I say I'm gonna do now in the first year, then we'll renegotiate after the second year, or you can even renegotiate up front, providing you do succeed and you do fulfill your promises towards the promoter too, which is also important. Maybe see it like that. And having it in writing is a big thing. You know, I've shook many hands. Promoters, people in this business have shook many hands, and a lot of it's gone by the wayside because it was only a handshake. You know, get them to write it. Have someone on your behalf, maybe like a lawyer, maybe pay someone who knows what they're doing in this area, because the money that you are paying up front, you're gonna get back down the stretch. You know, when you have got it in writing, when you're gonna get a promoter to sign these contracts, get a guarantee, a minimum. So therefore, I know I used to see it like, I had a manager one time for me. I think he I don't know what he done actually. I couldn't tell you actually what it was, but he had a bit of a dispute with one of the top promoters. I think he told me he had a dispute with one of the top promoters, and I was mandatory for European champion, but he wanted the European champion to fight somebody else. So I think he squeezed a few quid out of him, and it wasn't step aside money either. I think it was more seen as a bit of extortion. I'm not too sure though, because that's how I seen it. And I said, I'm not taking that. I don't want to be fucking, you know, pressing anyone out of money and not like that. So it's not what type of person I am. It's not why I'm in the game. And I remember the elders around me said, "You fucking joking, aren't you? You better take that. That's your money." And I was sort of like obligated to go along with it, because I felt like, oh well, that's what you must have to do then in this game. But if I could go back to being a bit more headstrong and said, no, but then you look at the other side of it, you look at the other side of the coin, and you say, if I didn't live up to my obligations towards these promoters and what they've got in contract for me, you'd be sitting in a courtroom, wouldn't you? And that is the situation. So yeah, make sure you get it all in writing, and maybe if you are going to get a contract, maybe something along the lines of, I want 6 fights a year. If you can't get 6 televised fights a year with minimum purse guaranteed, maybe you make a side deal. Okay, then I get 4 fights a year, but you also have to pay for me to get 2 other fights, non-televised fights a year. And that's a big risk for some promoters, because if you get cut on one of them other shows or anything like that. But it's so important that you are active. So yeah, maybe that could work with promoters too, to a little bit more activity if they can offer it through television, because it is very important. More important than anything is activity when it comes to turning professional in the first few years. That's where you get all your learning. You know, it's only going to be a few years before you stop sparring with people because they're a bit too close, and you might be fighting them very soon. So you might be fighting them very soon, and it's a bit too close now. But all that sparring that you could have got with them or off them would have put you in good stead. So good sparring, good activity, that's the first few years as a professional. This one, there's nothing to do with the actual promotional side of it, but what it would do once you have a promoter, making the weight, fighting at the championship weight is important, because I turned professional. I boxed as an amateur at 54 kilogram in the ABAs, and I was still growing because I was only 18 at that point. When I turned professional, training must have been like a year on, maybe half a year that I'd been training without making weight, and I grew, and I was training different, and I was a professional. So I put on a bit of beef, and I was telling myself, oh, I'll move, because the day before weighing, I'll fight at 55.3 kilogram, which is super bantamweight. But in reality, I moved up to featherweight. I'd skipped a few weights because I'd been training hard, and I'd also had a growth burst. I've been fighting for years. I've been fighting internationally, and internationally you don't get a season break. That's when you do fight, in the season break, like the international football. So I must have had a break, and not been worrying too much about my diet, because I turned professional and I grew, and by the time I fought for my championships weight, what I was saying I was going to do, I was 3 years later, and I was fighting at 55.3, and I've been fighting at 61 kilogram, 62 kilogram, and I hadn't been back down to 55.3 kilogram for years at that point. And when I did start going back down to it to make championship weight, to fight at titles, I was winning titles, but the truth was I was fucked at the weight. So make sure you do make the weight to see where you are, or round about what you are. Hiring a nutritionist ties into this. I use Carl Evans from Vortex. Paul Reed and Carl Evans have a company called Vortex, and they specialise in weight making and giving you a strategy to make the weight. And how you will find that out is putting you on a DEXA scanner, seeing what your body fat is, what your muscle mass is, and seeing what your water hydration level is, and seeing what weight you could be comfortable at making. You know what I mean? So you're not playing no guessing games. You actually know what weight you are now. So what weight you can get to if you do everything right, and they'll give you the program to do it right. So I would definitely advise them, Carl Evans and Paul Reed, Vortex, on social media. That's who I use anyway. If you are from over the pond, maybe there's people like, is it George Lockhart, maybe? I see another fella on social media, Australian fella, I'm not too sure if he's based in Australia. His name's Sullivan, maybe? Sullivan, weight making specialist, just type that in there. Yeah, but it's all good. Pretty much the same thing in different companies, in different countries. So yeah, that's my advice on turning professional. If you are a top level amateur and you are going to turn professional, get a good manager who knows what they're asking for you, and take no shit, and best of luck on your journey. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day, family. I'm out.